How to deal with negative or anxious thoughts. Typically those happen a lot when you're too busy being attached to those actual thoughts, right? You start to feel anxious and negative. I guess they're two different things. So negative, you'll usually get those thoughts that tell you all this negative stuff about you, like you're not worthy, or maybe like they might think you're weird, or you might think you're weird, or you might not think that you're good enough. And then the anxious thoughts, typically those come from you get worried or paranoid about certain things that typically are out of your control. I used to get paranoid and have like anxious thoughts like that, and also just negative thoughts in general super often. Recently I haven't had them nearly as much. I still struggle here and there, like, you know, the average person, but I'm gonna show you a quick method or a quick easy way that you can just quickly snap back and not have these annoying ass thoughts as often, or it's not going to affect you the same way, and you're actually going to be able to feel a lot better about yourself, and it's not going to affect you as much. You know, you're not going to be thinking about it at all. Most of the time when people are anxious is because they're thinking of all the things that could go wrong, or really everything outside of them. This could go wrong. This person might think this about me. People might think I'm weird if I do this or if I say this, right? So really, if you want to stop having those thoughts, stop identifying, first of all, with the thought and the belief, and realize that you are not your thoughts. And I know that's kind of a strange thing to say, because so often we I guess you could say you identify with that voice inside your head, but that's not you. And think about it, just when you do have these thoughts, you'll have the most random thoughts sometimes. So sometimes you'll have like a, you know, really good thought or a cool ass thought, and then you'll have a thought that is so out of pocket sometimes you're like, what? Why did I just think that? So if you identify with every single thought or every emotion that passes by, you're literally just going to be swayed wherever direction these thoughts go. So just think of it like a little wave that's passing by, or a little cloud that's passing by, and you're just simply the observer of this. Because every time that you have these thoughts of I'm not good enough, I fucking suck, this person thinks I'm weird. Do you see the way they looked at me afterwards? Like, I talked to them, they looked at me kind of weird and then left. Now you're pondering on this thought, right? And the emotion is what really charges it up. So you're actually going to believe that. And by simply actually just being the observer of these thoughts and not identifying with it, you take away that emotional charge that it has on your body. Holy crap, this one is crazy. Holy crap, there's a lot of wind, so I just had to find a little tree to hide behind. But basically, since you're no longer identifying with this, right, the emotions aren't building up, and you actually, once you're present and stop identifying with it, that's when you don't have as much charge in that direction that you don't want, because you realize that you are not those thoughts. So you just let them pass by. And when you let them pass by, like, you're no longer that anxious about it. So that's like one of the ways that you could, you know, handle or deal with these negative or anxious thoughts. It's like, oh, you're not being present. Just focus here, now, and watch these thoughts and realize that you are not them. Just observe them and don't judge them. Don't think like, oh, okay, well, if I have this negative thought, I'll counteract it with a positive thought. You could, but I feel that it's better just to be present and watch it, because then you won't have that charge. And you're probably thinking like, okay, that's cool and all. It sounds very smart and intellectual, and it makes sense, but you know, I'll give you a basic, like a real ass example. That way you can actually kind of apply it into your own life. But like, for example, I used to struggle a lot with anxious thoughts when I was like in group settings or when I went out and about. Ever since the whole COVID thing, everyone's just kind of been weird. Even, you know, myself included. So it's just kind of anxious, and you can kind of notice it, like when you're out and about, you'll probably notice that people are a little bit weird, just in basic ass interactions. So basically I used to always be so paranoid when I walk into the room. Like, I'd feel awkward, I'd feel anxious. I think that, you know, people in the room thought I was weird, or, you know, that I was awkward. And back in the day, I used to have this girlfriend, or this ex, who wouldn't really let me talk to girls, or just, you know, basically complain about stuff when I would talk to other girls. So I got in the habit of just not talking to girls at all, and being like, you know, making sure I didn't make eye contact and all this, just so my, you know, ex wouldn't get mad. But just, you know, it's whatever. But basically once we broke up, I still had that like awkwardness because of how long I'd been doing that for. But, after a while, I stopped being anxious about that because I realized that I cannot control what anybody else in the room thinks. It is not my job to control what other people think. And, it's one thing to know that. You'll be like, oh yeah, just don't do it. But when you're actually in the situation, it's that much harder because you're actually there. So all these pent up emotions that you have throughout your body will start to activate or start to act up. So that's why it's, some people are like, oh, just be confident. And then obviously you're thinking, yeah, it's confident, and you're confident when you're at your house or in your room. And once you actually go out and about, you're not confident anymore. And that's because you still have those emotions trapped in the body, as memory or whatever. So literally all I do now is when I do feel those anxious feelings, either the emotion or just the thoughts that are negative, I have to remind myself that the only reason I'm feeling this way is because I'm not present. It is not my job to think about what anyone else thinks about me. It's not my job. Like, who do I think that I am so important where everybody in the room, like, I have to be knowing what they're thinking about. You know what I mean? It's not my job, and it's not your job either. So now when I have these thoughts and emotions come up, I just remind myself I'm only feeling this way because I'm not present. Let me hide behind this tree. That way you can hear me. It's because I am not present. And that's just a reminder, oh, be present here, now. Let's observe these thoughts. These thoughts are not me. This is not true. I mean, some people might think I'm weird. Some people might think I'm not. And it's really not my job to, worry about that. It really isn't. You're just, like, who are you? Are you the ultimate judger of like, oh my God, I got to make sure that, everybody's thinking the right thing about me. I can't be awkward. It doesn't matter. And like most of the time, you'll never even know. Even if they did tell you like what they were supposedly thinking, like they could be lying. So it really isn't a big deal. But just remember now, next time, go out and about. And when you start getting the anxious thoughts, that's a signal that you are not present. So it's like, oh, dang. Okay, I can either watch these thoughts and just observe them, and that takes away that emotional charge that they have, and they'll literally leave you alone. Or you can just feel the emotions in your body and really be present with them. Be like, oh my God, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling scared, and just stay there in the moment. And then that way, since you're not identifying with it and you're being here and now in the present moment, it's way better. And the better you get at this and the more you do this, it literally starts to get easier and easier and easier. So yeah, don't just take my word for it. Like, this is what has worked for me and what has helped me out. Now I don't really care. I'll just do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do. And when these feelings do come up, because they still do come up sometimes, like, I just handle it better. And the most anxious and the most negative thoughts I get is when I'm least present, when I'm thinking about the past or the future and stuff that, like, oh, I don't know, I was embarrassed about something, and because I'm not here, I'm thinking about that there. So it just, it's like a pretty bad cycle. You'll just go deeper and deeper into that direction. So remember, just bam, present moment, try it out for yourself and see if it actually makes a difference for you or not. But yeah, I hope this helps.